I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. Our topic this week is a follow-up on a proposal in Joplin for an arts center. And this past week, the Joplin City Council discussed that and approved some proposals. And joining me, Clifford Wert, the President and CFO of Connect2Culture.
Thank you, Judy. Pleasure to be here.
And Monday was a chance for City Council to discuss a proposal that you had talked to them a few weeks prior, and they've approved, I guess, the concept of what you have in mind. So I'd like to take some time today to explain that for our viewers.
Thank you. Yes, this has been quite an extensive process. And the council, all of this has been done in open public meetings. This has gone through the full council process of, and then actually 2 open meeting presentations that we made, followed by the actual presentation of the Memorandum of Understanding Agreement for first reading, followed by the 2-week waiting period. And then on this past Monday night, it was presented as second and third and final reading for the passage of Council Bill 2017-007, that was unique, to enable Connect2Culture and the City of Joplin to enter into a memorandum of understanding regarding the entire parking lot area in front of Memorial Hall, as well as a potential future for Memorial Hall. So we're very excited about that.
So in today's program, I'd like to explain to our viewers, what this means. And I know the proposal itself goes back quite a few years. I know I can remember a few years ago, it was just a dream and idea of coming from the arts community in town. We want to do something.
This entire project, we actually started in 2009 with a venue development. And we had our phase 1 of that project even completed in December of 2010. And we were getting ready to move forward with that in phase 2, but then of course May of 2011 came. So we had to push pause.
Right.
We concentrated on being Joplin's community arts agency, which we are. But then back in 2012 or so, we started to resurface this concept of how we might go about developing venues for our community to bring performances, both performances of music and theater, etc., but also visual presentations. So as our plan was for a new home for Spiva Center for the Arts as well. So we actually appeared before the Joplin City Council in December of 2014 to seek the opportunity to explore the potential for the Memorial Hall site to become a community cultural arts center. So they agreed to that. And we've gone through quite an endeavor of processing all the way through 2015 and on into 2016, leading to the fact that we are now here with this project in 2017. So it's been a matter of perseverance, but we're pleased to be at this point.
And when you use the term "we" for the viewers, we're talking about Connect2Culture. For someone who's not familiar, define what that group is for the viewers.
Connect2Culture is a 501c3. We formally achieved that status in December 2011. We have an 18-member board of directors for Connect2Culture. We are Joplin's community arts agency, as recognized by the Missouri Arts Council. So we do actively promote all of the artist organizations in Joplin with social media, with calendar invites, with emails, with TV shows, with any way we can let people know and dispel of that often heard statement that there's not anything to do in Joplin. Well, I'm here to tell you there's a lot to do in Joplin.
So providing a lot of resources, a lot of information for the community in the region.
Absolutely. If you'll go to connect2culture.com and subscribe, you'll be on that bi-weekly mailing list and weekly blog and monthly calendar. So we want everyone to know there's a great deal that Joplin offers in the arts, entertainment, and cultural areas of this community.
So community members serving on the board, Connect2Culture, saying that we have an interest, a need, that we want to have a facility for the arts. It's the beginning of trying to get this idea going.
Absolutely. And this is a joint effort of Connect2Culture and the George A. Spiva Center for the Arts. So we have always had a desire to have a brand new home for Spiva Center for the Arts. that would be environmentally controlled, humidity-wise, that will have security controls, that will have proper loading and unloading, gallery space, so that truly there can be an expansion of national touring shows along with all of the local and regional shows that are brought to Spiva right now, and really increase what they do for our community. But then to also have a 500-seat type of a performance venue that we could definitely welcome the use by local artists, Heartland Regional, Heartland Opera, Midwest Regional Ballet, Pro Musica, the dance studios.
Groups that are already doing things.
Groups that are already. We want them to hopefully come in and use this state-of-the-art facility. So we're looking forward, but really anxious to even talk more about the plans that we have, because it's going to be a dynamic location.
Great. Well, let's talk about what happens to this, what actually was agreed upon, this memorandum of understanding. The City Council is now giving you permission to, I guess, start off with exploring whether it's feasible through some drilling surveys to find out if you can work on that line.
Exactly. We asked that we would have the opportunity to do core drilling samples to make sure that we and our engineers understand the substructure to below that parking lot. We checked mining maps and we do not find anything in that regard on the parking lot. But we want to do that and any other proper due diligence just to make sure before we really move forward. But once those samples come back and our due diligence is done, which we want to do expeditiously, we want to do ASAP, then we will indeed engage our architects to redraw our plans to be within our budget of $14 to $16 million, and then to also initiate our capital campaign efforts here in the fourth quarter. Those will likely be some silent efforts, but still nonetheless initiating those capital campaign efforts. And we have to, by November 30th of 2018, we have to be able to show to the City Council that we have received commitments. This is a 5-year capital campaign, that we have received commitments for a minimum of $14 million, and that once we have that, along with the city completing their primary objective, and that is to complete the land swap with the state of Missouri.
Right. Some people don't understand that there's actually, since it's where its location, there's some land that the state is using on city property.
Correct. The southwest corner of that parking lot is actually owned by the state of Missouri. So the city owns the remaining L.
But there's a little chunk out of it that belongs to the state.
So they own, so that state parking lot goes with the Missouri Career Center.
Right.
Well, the memorandum of understanding between the city and the state of Missouri has been signed that states that once the city paves the grass area between the Missouri Career Center and the former Joe Harding building.
Okay, so just to the north of the Career Center there.
Just to the north of Career Center, which that is a tract that would be very comparable to the same number of parking spaces that's presently in that southwest corner.
Right.
That once that is done, but by no later than July 1st of 2018, which the monies are already in the city budget for that to be done, and that's been all adopted. So once that paving is completed, then the state will come and make sure that's to their satisfaction, which I'm sure it will be, and then they will close that transaction to where the actual ownership of the city-owned property to the north of the Career Center will be swapped for the state-owned property on the southwest corner of the parking lot.
So then that parking lot becomes all city-owned property.
Then that parking lot becomes all city-owned parking. That's exactly right. So, we've got some tandem things happening, but, between us and the city. We have to continue to do our capital campaign, like I said, and be able to show that we have that in November. But that's going to require that we redesign our plans, because what we now have were plans that were presented in our Phase 2 that was more of a larger project from the standpoint of dollar cost in a $23 to $24 million
Okay, so you're
amount.
reducing the budget. And I know you have a
Right.
website, so that'll help people visualize. If
Yes.
we Connect2Culture's website, go to their page, and then we'll take a look at some of the drawings from your phase 2 when you said this is what we're dreaming of doing.
Exactly.
So explain what
So,
we're seeing.
You know, on the Connect2Culture.com, and if you go to on the upper right-hand corner about us and scroll down to Joplin Arts Center, you will come to this site. So you see there in that picture the Wall Street side on the west side. That will be the brand new home for Spiva Center for the Arts.
Okay.
On the east side will be a 500-seat, multifunctional, multi-dimensional performing arts area, but it will be different from what that plan shows, because when we had our phase 2 interviews, our interviewees said, well, we would like for you to really think about that, because in that original plan it was a 500-seat, fixed seating, sloped, orchestra pit, fly, dressing rooms,
Really complex facility.
real theater setting. Well, we're going to move that now to a multifunctional, multidimensional, but it will be far more than a black box. It will, yes, have a flat floor with a stage, but it will have flexible seating, it will have acoustics, it will have design, it will have decor that is going to be far and above what a black box, but it's still going to enable people, if they want to have weddings in there, if they want to have banquets in there, if they want to have corporate seminars in there, along with the performances that we can bring. Maybe we bring comedians, maybe we bring, jazz,
Different music groups from
music
around.
groups, maybe whatever we do to make that happen. So we're really looking forward to that. But the next step that has always been in that plan is between that building and Memorial Hall will be an 1,800 to 2,000 capacity outdoor festival plaza amphitheater.
So you'll have outdoor performance of
Absolutely.
opportunities.
And the sides of that design are basically kind of stair steps on both sides. So people can sit and enjoy the settings. They can bring lawn chairs. We'll have a cutout on 8th Street, off of 8th Street. 8th Street will remain open. We'll have a cutout that we can bring a portable stage in and open it up, let the performance happen, plug into the power right there, and allow people to enjoy the outdoors of performances. So new home for Spiva, 500-seat, multifunctional, multidimensional performance type space, and then an 1,800 to 2,000 capacity outdoor amphitheater.
And all of this in downtown Joplin. And that's
All
a
of
key to what
this.
you've been looking at all along, is let's keep something downtown.
Absolutely. Spiva in particular has been very adamant. They want to stay downtown, and we want to support that. And we believe this is where a great amount of arts and culture and entertainment can come. The downtown is the core. And as we continue to see, Judy, what's happening, potentially happening, we welcome what the Missouri Southern State University is doing with the
Possibility
potential
of downtown
Joplin
location.
Library, student housing, with what has been announced by David and Deborah Humphreys, with the Schifferdecker Delican home, the Rogers home. I mean, it's tremendous what is happening, potentially happening in downtown Joplin, that's going to really bring economic vitality, more livelihood, more business for those downtown business people, and hopefully attracting even more people to come to downtown with retail, loft over, etc.
So kind of a trickle-down effect. As you do one thing, other things will happen, and tie
Right.
things together along those lines.
And one of the constant questions we get is, what about parking? What
Right.
about
You're
parking?
using a parking lot to build on. People are saying, where are we going to park?
What are you going to do park? Well, there are over 1,000 parking spaces in existence within a maximum of 2 blocks, but even closer to that. And we have received, which I believe is an excellent demonstration of community support, from private property owners, the Empire District Electric Company, the Joplin School District, Pinnacle Bank, from the Jasper County Commissioners as well, and Community Clinic is coming on board, where they say, we will definitely allow you as adjoining property owners to use our parking lots in non-business hours for events and activities at both Memorial Hall and the Joplin Arts and Entertainment Center. So, that to me says the community is very supportive of seeing this downtown happening occur.
Trying that in. Now, you mentioned Memorial Hall, and some people are wondering, well, how does Memorial Hall fit into this vision of putting things together? The building, Memorial Hall building, is still there in this picture.
The Memorial Hall building is still there. And if you go back to our history, when we first came back to the council back in 2015, we came with a Plan A and a Plan B. A Plan A was to add on to Memorial Hall for a new home for Spiva, and a Plan B was to potentially raise that building and start fresh. Well, we heard so much response from the community that time out. We don't want to see Memorial Hall and the big box flexibility that it provides to be taken away. So we stopped our architects and said, stop on Plan A and go to Plan B that would look for a location adjoining to Memorial Hall, i.e. that's where we're at now. So in the memorandum of understanding that has been signed and agreed upon, two things. Number one is that the city is going to aggressively pursue the opportunity for the National Historic Registry of Memorial Hall.
The building itself.
The State Office of Historic Preservation has approved a grant to enable the application process to be done, and that grant will be forthcoming to the City Council, and hopefully they will be acting, I believe they will be acting, to proceed with obtaining that grant, which allows the writing of the application to ultimately go to the National Park Service so that there can be the potential registry of Memorial Hall. That would enable then an entity, can't be the city, has to be somebody else, that would be able to apply for 25% of state historic tax credits and 20% of national historic tax credits, 45% of the eligible improvements. So that's a great opportunity to see that structure to be revitalized.
The first step is you have to start that application process.
You have to start that application. But also in the MOU is the fact that there's an agreement on the potential for Connect2Culture to become a triple net leasee or owner of Memorial Hall. We have in the agreement a right of first refusal.
Okay.
So if there should ever be an offer or action by the city to sell Memorial Hall, then Connect2Culture has a 60-day right to meet that offer. And because honestly, when you look at a 500-seat, a new visual arts, an 1,800 to 2,000 outdoor amphitheater, and you combine that with an up to 2,500 to 2,700 capacity Memorial Hall, we see great synergies. Great synergies.
A lot of things to tie together in that community down there.
It'd be awesome. And the opportunity for Connect2Culture, we could have one box office, we could be one scheduler, we could complement what's going on, and I think it would be a great potential. But first things first.
Right. Well, the first things first, you mentioned the fourth quarter, which we are in now, is starting.
That's right.
So as far as going out and actually soliciting the commitments to the funding, that's a big challenge in front of you.
That is a real challenge. When our phase 2 was completed in September of 2016, our confidential interviews by our consultants did indicate from 61 interviewees, 61 in 49 different interviews, an indication of support of in excess of $9 million.
Now, are these corporate individuals?
Corporates, individuals, potential foundations. Okay. So we feel very confident that we can follow up now on those indications of support to seek out actual commitments. So those are not commitments yet.
Right.
We have to be able to bring our new design and to bring our plan so that the donors know exactly what we're going to do. For example, on that Joplin Street side where we're talking about the 500 seat, well, we want to incorporate into that plan a covered drop-off, ingress and egress off of Joplin Street, parking for disabled or handicapped, potential of that even expanding with the community clinic then being right across the street and designating that as disabled or handicapped parking. So we want to really incorporate into our plans so that all the donors know exactly what it is that we're going to do. So we feel very, very confident about in advance of November of 2018.
So getting with the people who are going to help with the design is step one, saying now after you do the core drilling and say, yes, we can do it, somebody has to sit down and say, okay, let's show us what it's going to look like.
You know, we have the good fortune, we've had an established relationship locally with Corner Greer and Associates and nationally with Westlake Reed Laskowski out of Cleveland, Ohio, New York City, Phoenix, Arizona. And so we already have a basic design for the Spiva and for the outdoor amphitheater. It'll mainly be a redesign of that 500 seat and that ingress, egress, covered parkway, etc. All of that to live within our $14 to $16 million budget. So we're already well down that road, and it shouldn't take us that long to really have those final drawings. But I believe there are donors out there that understand the concept, that will be willing to say, yes, let's put my name, our business, our corporation on the dotted line, and you know what, you can count on us.
Right. Now you mentioned like a silent campaign. People are watching. You're not necessarily going to be running spots on TV or commercials saying support us. You're going to be talking to these individuals you think, or the corporations you think are ready to support you.
Certainly. That's a one-on-one relationship call. And at a point in time, we will come forth and publicly announce our capital campaign.
You will have a public campaign. Okay.
Oh, yes. We will publicly announce that, and we'll be able to communicate some of the gifts that we already know are committed to provide everyone with an idea and an indication that there is that kind of level of support. And yes, it's going to take a lot of people, and every donation, from that $10 donation to that potential 7-figure donation. It takes everybody. But we believe if you have a passion for the arts, for the entertainment, and for culture here in Joplin, then this is something for you to give serious consideration to.
And I know you have a very active board in what you're doing already. It sounds like your board members are going to be even more active, and we're calling on others and pitching together to make this team effort.
You know, board is very supportive of the 18 members, and one thing that we would really like to do going forward also is to establish a board of advocacy to expand the input that we receive into our future. Maybe there's a group of people that are interested in what we do with our Curtains Up series, where we're bringing in performers. So when we want to schedule our performers for 18-19, then we might be seeking some input. What would they like to see? Or people that would like to just help and serve when we do have these events. They'd like to usher, they'd like to be a ticket taker, or they'd like to just be the sharers of social media. And
a lot of volunteer opportunities.
Oh, tremendous amount of volunteer opportunities.
Now, you mentioned the Curtains Up, and I think I'm going to go back to your website. You do have activities going on now. I mean, there's so much in the arts already. Back on the front page, when you go to the home page of the website, you can see, you know, programs already happening and planned.
Absolutely. We have already brought Asleep at the Wheel to Memorial Hall. We had a great country swing dance party. People were out on the dance floor. I mean, it was fun to watch those people. We even received a grant for the Friday before to offer dance lessons on,
so they could dance
on two-step and country swing. And we had almost 90 people there for those dance lessons. So Asleep at the Wheel has occurred, and now we're looking forward with great enthusiasm. We have David Phelps with his classic Christmas show coming to the Joplin High School Performing Arts Center on Sunday, December the 17th at 7:30 p.m. And then right before Valentine's, the 14th of February for Valentine's, well, the Saturday night before, on February the 10th, we have the Annie Moses Band, also at the Joplin High School Performing Arts Center, also at 7:30, with the Art of the Love Song. And so, great concerts. Seats are already filling up. Over 300 seats are already spoken for on the David Phelps concert.
And they can find out by going to that website that we showed.
Absolutely. You go to that first website, that banner, and you click on that, and you can go and get your tickets, and you can pick out the exact seats. And we now have an offering for if you pick to attend both shows,
Right.
it's a 10% discount on premium or value seating. Or if you put together a group of 15 up to 40, it's a 20% discount. So it's all out there on our website, and we would sure encourage people to check us out and don't miss these wonderful concert opportunities.
So you have the concerts, you have ongoing arts activities in the community. I know you mentioned there's news releases every other week about here's just what's happening in our community, not necessarily big concerts, but ongoing activities for people.
And I would like to highlight even this tomorrow. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. in the Spiva Park there at 4th and Main. And perhaps the airing of this will be after that date, but we will be having the mayor issue the proclamation for the National Arts and Humanities Month. So for the whole month of October, we're really focusing on what everything is going on in the city of Joplin from an arts, culture, and entertainment. That's our purpose. We want to ignite a passion for arts, culture, and entertainment in Joplin.
And in the long run, this ties into the growth of the community. I've heard that quality of living is a key aspect of economic development. So do you feel that you're playing a hand and a role in that for the city as well?
Unequivocally. You know, the more that we can offer to our existing citizenry, that we can offer to people who are coming in and looking at Joplin, we're not the sole solution, but we believe we're going to be a very good part of that solution of taking Joplin from 50 to 55,000 to 60,000, of helping Missouri Southern to go from those upper 6,000 numbers to 7 to 8 to 10, you know, to helping that medical school as they now have their first 150 to go to 300 and 450 and 600. We believe we're going to be a part of the framework and the weaving of everything that goes into our community to make Joplin exactly what we are.
Great. Well, Clifford, if someone has questions, they've been watching, they can go to their website for a connection to how to contact someone with Connect2Culture?
Absolutely. Connect2Culture.com. We're there. Emily Frankowski is our community arts director. We've even grown to now we have a part-time employee. And we also have a 16-week intern from Missouri Southern State University who is a creative writing in the program of creating writing and helping us doing all of our writing of all of our blogs and all of our weekly and bi-weekly emails. So, you know, we're growing, and Connect2Culture.com or 625-6683, either of those ways, we'd love to have the contact and love for you all to get involved.
Well, thank you. And I'd like to thank you for visiting today and providing information for our viewers.
Oh, thank you. I'm obviously excited.
You're welcome. And I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for tuning in this week for Newsmakers. I'm Judy Stiles. Hope you can join me again next week at the same time on this station. We'll see you then.